We've got the President of the United States in here. We need 10 cc's of concentrated dark matter stat or you'll die.
Concentrated dark matter? They were asking about that in class.
Yeah, it's a special fuel I invented to travel through space faster than anybody else. These Zigerians are always trying to scam me out of my secrets, but they made a big mistake this time, Morty. They dragged you into this.
In this episode of Rick and Morty, we see Rick kill an entire ship full of innocent prisoners just to kill the people that mess with them, and also we get this close to learning the recipe for concentrated dark matter. But before we get into it, make sure you subscribe to Universe, tell your friends about us, and send me poop emojis on Twitter at Buddy Hutton. Now let's break down Rick and Morty Season 1, Episode 4, M. Night Shaym-Aliens. Shaym-Aliens. The name for the episode is M. Night Shaym-Aliens, which is a play on M. Night Shyamalan's name, a film director who's known for his twisty, turny storylines and Lady in the Water.
Hey! I saw you!
A race of aliens called the Zigerians puts Rick in a simulation to trick him into revealing his recipe for concentrated dark matter. There are several references to various sci-fi franchises such as 13th Floor, wherein computer simulations find the edge of their programmed space. And of course Inception, as it is levels of created worlds just like this episode. The third level of the Zigerian simulation is actually only supposed to make Rick think that Morty is real. He's supposed to know that he's in a simulation, that's why there's so many errors.
Whatever, quote unquote, Morty.
There's a moment in this episode that simulation Morty looks down at his grandfather's dick. Justin Roiland is so weird with dicks.
Looks like you're inside a simulation. Inside a simulation. You're still on the ship. Game day, bucket go, boom.
The second level of the Zigerian simulation is still supposed to be bad. It corrected some things, but there's still some blatant errors, like the road sign to the CPU and to the escape pods is actually like a road sign. After the second layer, there's still a bunch of small hints that Rick and Jerry are still in a simulation. Jerry still has a tuxedo that was created in a simulation and it didn't disappear. Neither did the crystal processors, and Rick just pushes this guard over and he falls and stays there. The Zigerians get their name from a slave-trading race in Star Wars called Zigerians. They are dressed in what looks like dupe uniforms from Futurama, and their entire culture has an aversion to nudity, but their logo is a dick. There's a quick transition that we see they have sailing on their planet, and their legs are brown even though their heads are pink. Unless the dude on that toilet was pooping through his pants, which is totally a thing that aliens might do. I don't know. They use toilet paper and put the roll the correct way. So they're not savages, they're just jerks. Also, I don't know if you've worked in any corporate space, but if anything goes wrong, the Zigerians reacting to this meeting is exactly how corporations work.
Hey man, abductions just follows the acquisition order.
Don't put this on acquisitions! We only acquire humans that haven't been simulated!
Well, simulations doesn't simulate anybody that's been abducted, so...
Jerry is an amazing metaphor for someone who is so self-absorbed they don't pay attention to things around them. He passes the same 3 stores and the same 3 people over and over again and doesn't notice. The ad agency Jerry is pitching has 2 D's in ad. He doesn't notice this girl glitching out in front of him and pulls up to have sex with his wife. Beth does not move at all, and Jerry still says,
That's the best sex I've ever had in my life.
I think the Jerry sequence is basically just self-fulfilling prophecy. Like everyone says yes to him, and he almost gets fired.
I gotta tell you, this morning I didn't even know this award existed. Now I'm holding one.
The Appley Award that Jerry gets is just an Oscar holding an apple, and a bunch of glitches happen during that scene. We got pineapple head guy, flying guy, and just a lamp sitting where a person was. A few more random things that I caught in the episode. Jerry's celebration song is Baker Street by Jerry Rafferty. Rick has a very Star Wars approach to locking doors, and this is a reference to the tractor beam platform on the Death Star, with a little bit of the Bespin Abyss thrown in. This Pop-Tart has his eyes held open like Clockwork Orange. This episode is the first time we see Plutonians. The scene is kind of a Matrix homage too. Also, all the same silhouettes were used in the spaceport in the pilot episode. So we see the Xenomorph, the District 9 Prawn, Big Bird, a Moonanite, Gromphulmites, as well as a few characters that show up in later episodes. They run through a recreation of the moon landing. This is the first reference to the moon landing, but it comes up again in later episodes. This dude is wearing a Pikachu hat, and the Zigerian ship has a Pokeball on the side of it. This could possibly be a batteries not included robot on Rick's workbench. In the hangar, some of the ships are definitely homages. This is a Romulan warbird. This looks like a vulture from StarCraft 1. In the background, you can make out what looks like a Jawa sandcrawler. And the ship that they choose has a pretty Millennium Falcon-ish looking cockpit.
2 parts plutonic quarks, 1 part cesium, and the final ingredient?
Cesium is actually highly reactive to water, so they're not lying about that. So in the end, Morty is actually just a simulation, so this is the first Rick and Jerry solo adventure. Also, this is the first time that we see that Rick has a thing for dissecting rats, so he had practice for that thing that he does later. We're calling these things Rick and Morty Rewinds because we're going back to old episodes, and also, it sounds pretty cool. If you like it, please share it. Make sure to subscribe to Universe, add me on Twitter at Buddy Hutton. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you.